Sweet Earth booth. I'm Cassie, a registered dietitian that works with the Sweet Earth team, and I'm joined by Chef Logan, who's our chef that's going to be handling our demo for us today. What we're going to feature for you is our Sweet Earth Awesome Grounds, and this is a product that's designed to taste and have the texture of ground meat, but it's also just as versatile as ground meat, and it's plant-based. So we were inspired by a couple of the sessions that we saw on the calendar for today that were looking at global cuisines, and so we thought it would be really fun for us to also take some inspiration on those global cuisines. And so I think I'll kick it over to Chef Logan to talk about the recipes that we'll be featuring for you today.
Thank you. Yes. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on a couple of globally inspired recipes using the Sweet Earth Awesome Grounds. We already did one of the recipes today, which we'll go through really quickly with you. So we did a Indian curry poha. So it's a flattened rice dish. And what we did was we really wanted to build flavors. So we sweated some aromatics, some mustard seeds, peanuts, and some oil over medium heat, and then we started building flavors, so garlic, minced red onions, scallion whites, and then what we did from there was we added in our potatoes, and then we added in our awesome grounds. Now the thing that I like about the awesome grounds in this application is that it crumbles just like regular ground beef. It cooks up just like it as well, but the texture's nice. It's not mushy, it's not gristly either. So I really like it in this application. We finished it with just some water, some curry, and then just some additional vegetables as well. And then we finished it with cilantro and scallions. So that was the first dish. So then for the second dish, what we're gonna be working on is a kofta. And so in the first application, it's more of a hash application. And then in this one, we're going to show more of a meatball-ish application here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get some of the awesome grounds for you to see as well. So I don't know how the camera angle works on that. So we're going to take some of the awesome grounds and we're just going to crumble them right into this bowl. Now the awesome grounds are pea protein based, but this specific product doesn't have like that off-putting aroma of pea proteins. And when you're cooking with it, it doesn't overly, it doesn't have any effect on the dish either. So to this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in some chiffonade cilantro, some ground sorghum. So I like toasting sorghum and then grinding it to a powder and then folding it in. And with that, it's going to give it like a little nuttier flavor, a little earthier flavor, as well as incorporating some whole grains into the recipe. We're also going to add in some spice. So this is a mixture of toasted cinnamon, toasted coriander, and toasted cumin. And then we're also going to add in some charred hazelnuts for a little bit of a different texture. And then to that, we're going to add in a little egg. And then we're just going to mix it together.
And I'd love to add here that one of the things I love about the Awesome Grounds from the perspective of a dietitian is that it's got 16 grams of protein per 3-ounce serving. So that's about the same as you would get from a traditional ground meat product. But because it's plant-based, it's also going to bring you some fiber. So it's got 4 grams of fiber in that same amount. So as Logan puts together this awesome recipe that looks really nutrient dense, you're also going to deliver on that protein ask and requirement that a lot of our flexitarian consumers are looking for, even when they switch over to plant-based.
So you can see after we mixed it, like it's still together. It's really nice. It really has a nice texture to it. It's not mushy. And then what we'll do is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to scoop out some portions before we roll. And other applications that I really like the grounds in, some really good ones. So, we already talked about meatballs, but meatloaf is another good one. We did something of a hash earlier. Breakfast hashes are great. Again, too, like toppings for nachos, meat sauces for pastas, all really good applications.
I love those because we know that most people really want familiarity even when they're going after plant-based. So this shows that you can sort of introduce someone to a plant-based recipe. It's something that's really familiar, and you just swap out the grounds, and you can run all the way over to this more globally inspired recipe. So it's really a versatile product that can sort of meet your audience wherever they happen to be.
And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of form these just into little logs. And then what we'll do is we're going to preheat a skillet over medium, high heat. And then we're going to add in just a little bit of oil to that. And then we're going to sear these in the pan. We want to develop some of that caramelization on the outside, really develop the spices that are mixed into the awesome grounds, as well as just develop some of that natural flavoring that's in the product. So we're going to go ahead and add some oil to the pan.
And maybe we can talk about pea protein for a minute here. So Logan mentioned that this recipe, or the Awesome Grounds recipe, is primarily pea protein, right? So that's where the protein and the fiber is primarily coming from. And we at Sweet Earth love peas, as well as everything else in the legume family, because the legumes and peas have the ability to take nitrogen from the air and use it for their growth. Most plants can't do that. And so we like everything that's got that nitrogen fixing is what it's called, that nitrogen fixing ability, because it enables us to use less fertilizer when we grow, which therefore can reduce greenhouse gases. So it's an important part of what we think about when we think about selecting ingredients for use in Sweet Earth. And I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have as you're observing this, either about the recipe that Logan is making or anything else about the Sweet Earth Grounds product that you're wondering about as you watch this.
Yeah, so we'll have both of these recipes available as well. We'll just have to figure out a way to get them posted.
Yes.
So really what we're looking for right here is we're just looking for a nice golden brown flavor on all sides, and we're going to try to sear a lot of that moisture on the inside. But what we'll do is we'll sear it in the pan. You can already kind of smell the fragrance from the nuts, the spices, and the Awesome Ground product itself. So we're going to go golden brown on all sides, and then we're going to go right into the oven with these.
Those are looking really good. Another question that we often get from folks is about allergens, right? So people often want to know what else is in the product. So this product has one allergen. It's a wheat a wheat ingredient that if you had a person that has a wheat allergy or has a gluten sensitivity or intolerance, this product wouldn't be suitable for them, but that's the only allergen that is in the product.
And I know I touched on this in the last demo as well, and I just want to make sure that I cover it again too. One of the nice things that I really like about the product is that it takes on the flavor of the dish really well. The first dish we went through, we really built flavor through aromatics and spices, and we're kind of doing the same thing here, but it really takes on flavors really well, and it really complements dishes in a really nice way. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this right into the oven. And while that's cooking, what we're going to do is we're going to work on just a little spread that's going to go with it. So we're going to make a tzatziki, but we're going to give it a little avocado flair. So yogurt, avocado, cucumber that we grated really well, and then we dried it out. And then we'll season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. So again, so yogurt into the bowl. some grated cucumber, and then avocado. Give that a little mix.
That looks like it's going to be delicious.
Season with salt, black pepper.
Another question we have gotten before from some of the attendees is what we see coming next in plant-based. And so today you're seeing grounds products, so it's like a ground meat, so sort of a beef inspiration there. Last week we actually shared our mindful chicken. So chicken is the next big platform that we see. People in the United States actually eat more chicken than they do beef, so we think that's a huge, very close-in opportunity. And we have some other things that we're working on that we'll be featuring in the upcoming session, so please tune back in the coming weeks to see some of the other things that we're working on. But if there are other things that you're wanting, please let us know in the chat. We're always looking for ideas for our pipeline that we know will be fitting into the various operations that you might have.
All right, so now that we've got this all complete, we got all the components completed, and then we're just gonna start to build this. So we're gonna make a little pita here. So we have a pita that's been pre-grilled. And then what we're gonna do here is we're just going to spoon a little bit of the tzatziki right on there. We're just gonna spread it. Create a nice base layer. And then these are the kofta that are all baked off and ready to go. Bake those. And then we're gonna finish it with some fresh herbs. So we have mint, cilantro, scallions, and radishes. And then we'll just garnish these right on top, just like that. Some cilantro, some mint, scallions, and this is going to add a really nice freshness to it. And then fresh radishes, and I like the radishes in this dish just because it gives it like a different type of bite and flavor and texture. So there you go.
Wow, that's really colorful and really looks delicious. And I love the description of all of the textures. I know, we eat with our eyes first, but then I think a lot of us eat with the textures next. And so I think what you've done there to sort of incorporate some fresh ingredients as well as that awesome grounds, it's going to have that nice texture that people are expecting from a kofta. Looks really nice. One of the practical things that I don't think I've mentioned yet, Sweet Earth Awesome Grounds is shipped frozen, and it has an 8-month frozen shelf life, so that's sometimes something that people are wondering about. If you do have a question that we haven't answered, or if you think of one later, you're more than welcome to navigate to our booth area and click on that Contact Us button. That will take you to our website where you can enter your information and be contacted by one of our sales professionals who can follow up with you on any questions you might have or anything else you might be interested in. We have about 5 minutes left, so if you do have a question, just go ahead and throw it in the chat box now and we'll be happy to answer it for you. Otherwise, have you thought of any other recipes, Chef Logan, that you think this would be excellent in that we should tell people about?
Well, I know that we were just talking about doing tacos and enchiladas. I think that's a really good concept to do. I also think, we talk a lot about comfort food too, and I was just thinking about this in the break, but shepherd's pie is a perfect example to make a plant-based, very classic, very comfort food favorite. And so I would say those two.
Yeah, I think those are both great ideas. Very approachable.